Hello, friends. It's John Klein's third of episode 242 of Shadow and Flame of Magic, your premier Kitty Pryde, Locky, and Magic podcast. And we just wrapped up the D23 Marvel segment. There was a cool Vision Quest trailer, a new Avengers Doomsday trailer, which showed us a couple of new clips of Magneto, even him wearing the helmet. Gambit got a new shot. Cyclops got a new shot with like a little more details on his visor. And Hugh Jackman showed up, and apparently it's been a long rumor that Deadpool and Wolverine are going to be in this Doomsday as well, and so that's all but been confirmed. But then we got the announcement, and I just uploaded a video on the TikTok and YouTube and Instagram at SNFWB on Instagram and Jacko SII on YouTube and TikTok. And my wife was still up. It's 10:34 our time on August 14th. And we got the X-Men announcements. Uh, so we got the new logo, which is just like I mean, it looks like the new X-Men logo. For our YouTube friends, we'll be able to see this. And then we got confirmation Kit Connor is Cyclops. And then from Obsession, Inde Navarrete is been announced as Rogue. So I gotta watch Obsession. Hopefully maybe tomorrow, maybe. Um, Christopher Abbott is gonna be Professor X, who I'm not that familiar with, but I've seen some of the stuff he's been in. Like I'm gonna have to like do my homework. Adam Driver is going to be Mr. Sinister. And thanks, huge shout outs to Discussing Film for covering D23. Samara Weaving is Emma Frost. And Maya Boyd is Storm. And we got the release date of May 5th, 2028. So that is very exciting. And so we know the character is Professor X Cyclops, a character who shows up in Brand New Day, Rogue, Mr. Sinister, and Storm. And so it's a pretty solid cast. Um, I would, of course, want a Beast, Iceman, Angel casting, but Mr. Sinister finally going to come to a X-Men movie feels long overdue. Up there with X-Men in space would be nice. Um, but also I'm okay with not X, but it's just one of those plot points they haven't quite touched on yet. And um, but yeah, Storm and Rogue, Jean, like so far, and Emma, so four ladies, Cyclops, like that's a decent five X-Men, right? Scott, Rogue, Storm, Emma. Yeah. Um, but yeah, the logo looks amazing, and I'm super, super excited. And hopefully you are too. Comment below or reach out if let me know your thoughts. But I'm this is the news I was hoping for all day. Um, and then we got Vision Quest trailer. I think I said all that. Yeah. Um, so I'm gonna take a breath. So then we're gonna also review X-Men 97 Season 2, Episode 9, Survivor of the Fittest, the season finale. Then review X-Men Evolution 4, which I got a good copy, which at first I was like, you can't tell anything, but right here on the cover is the price tag of 375, so that's not great that it's literally on the cover. So that would bring down. If you listen to or watch my Maggie Blue O'Hara uh, interview last episode, which thank you again for Maggie Blue O'Hara for being a guest. I had this in the background, and then just to continue the good times, we're going to review the issue. Okay. And then we're going to spoil the heck out of X-Men United 6, X-Men Volume 735, Jeff the Landshark Superstar 2, Generation X 23/7, Wolverine Volume 825, and X-Men 97 Season 2, Issue 3. I would say that we've been having a pretty solid week this week. The last 3 days, I've had a bit of a staycation. We ran around the state, and then we got Walker D closer to being ready for his first day of school. My wife teaches, so she's her first day of school is coming up, but I believe we're all set to go forward. And some notes aren't as solid as they usually are. But let's see what we got. So X-Men 97 season 2 episode 9 Survival of the Fittest, the season finale. And been trying to debate all day if I like one or two more. I mean, season 2 gave us a magic episode, but then killed her off, so I don't feel great about that. And I mean, I have to agree with the internet. I know it's dangerous, but she couldn't have opened a portal where the blast went through the portal and then back and hit the Sentinel in the head. Like, that would have been pretty cool. Or even and then she fell exhausted and then banished herself to limbo to recover. But from Kalash's point of view, he thinks she's dead. Like, I don't know. Seems like you could have everything. Okay, so in spoilers. So in order to save Gambit, Rogue, Beast, and Nightcrawler all go to the celestial to ship. They find ship underwater. The gateway opens up so they can talk to a celestial who will give someone a power upgrade to combat Gambit ops. And Rogue says she would do it because she would sacrifice herself for Gambit, which seems like a real gift of the mad guy, which is a concept I just love where, you sacrifice somebody to buy something, a gift for someone, and then that someone sacrifices their thing to buy you a gift for something, but then it turns out, the final collection piece, but now they don't have the rest of the collection. So it's like, oh yeah, I would save Gambit's life, but then I'll be dead, so that's not what Gambit wants. Rogue's power upgrade gives her like a headband of like two W's on it, so it's like very Wonder Woman coded. And then we get X-Force, X Factor versus the X-Men. Flying the Blackbird, which is very blue, and Havoc's flying their red Blackbird and or Redbird, I suppose. And that's just fun to see those two team up. We get a moment where Nate Cable and Havoc are together, and that's fun. But also, it's like, well, Cable should. I don't know this continuity. They've even said Cyclops and Havoc are brothers. So then, unfortunately, uncle and nephew are standing right next to each other. There's no way to tell what's going on, or like they don't recognize their familiar bonds. Though you would think Cable in the future, someone would have written it down by then. But anyways. Um, oh yeah, then Siren shows up, and I'm not sure we've seen her in any of the shots. Maybe once Polaris left, that opened up a position for another female, and they got Siren. But she did a pretty cool job. Gambit wakes up, and then Apocalypse immediately takes over for the body and grows to Apocalypse giant size Apocalypse, and but maintains Cyclops or Gambit's head and jacket, but the rest of it's clearly Apocalypse. And then Rogue shows up and beats him down, and then kisses him as he depowers down. And then Rogue kisses him thinking it's a goodbye kiss, and then all of a sudden she turns and has this very intense look at Beast, and he's all by himself. And I feel like it got telegraphed way earlier in the episode about Kurt saying how love's a sacrifice. So Kurt gave up his life so that Rogue could live. And so her and Gambit can live forever together. So that's pretty special. I mean, I'd rather Kurt didn't die. And then we get a post-credit scene of Val Cooper at a desk, and then who opens the door but Val Cooper, which I like the idea that, hey, everyone, you all figured out that Val Cooper may be impersonated, but actually, no, this has been Val Cooper the whole time, but now she's going to be impersonated. Thanks for the great idea. And the season three villain is going to be Mystique. And I can only imagine she's going to be even more annoyed that her son just died. So that's not great. But her son died to save her daughter, so I don't know. Oh, and Robert Kelly apparently stepped down so that Creighton Creed can be the president. So there's going to be some real life mirroring. But I'm excited about season three that's a lot more grounded. And I have to admit, I was wrong. There is no Kitty Pryde. We saw her face in the end of season one, so I thought maybe we'll see the back of her head for season two, but nope. But maybe she'll be here in season three. That'd be nice. That's the dream. Um, so yeah, I think that's pretty nice. And I can't tell if we can see this. I just got the Psylocke Funko. So I no longer need the original Psylocke Funko. So if they can do a remaster Juggernaut and Toad, I think I will have at least one of every X-Man that they've made. I do want to get Uncanny Nightcrawler, or I'm sorry, Uncanny Spider-Man at one point. No, no, there's a Dazzler I don't have, and there's a Havoc I don't have. But I think those last two were Funko.com exclusives, and yeah, I missed my window there. And there's an Onslaught too. I should probably make a list. I do love a list. Okay, everyone. So X-Men Evolution number 4. Uh, I'm going to try to post the. Oh, shoot. I have not recorded a read along yet. I should try to do that, I guess, after this so I can upload it tomorrow morning. Anyways, so this came out May of 2002. It is written by Devin Grayson. Um, Art and colors by Udon with Longbow, Charles Park, and Saka of Studio XD. Letter is Sharp Fonts Randy Gentile. Editor Ralph Macchio, who's just celebrating 50 years at Marvel. Associate editor Brian Smith, editor-in-chief Joe Quesada, and president Bill Jemas. And Stanley presents X-Men Evolution Am I Blue? And Kurt's having a bit of a nightmare, as we'll learn. And then Cyclops telling, oh yes, 8 o'clock in the Xavier Institute, and he needs to get ready. We see Kitty shows up in the hallway as Scott's trying to get everyone ready for school. And then Bayville High School, 8:25, so they're cutting it very close. And the teacher gives them an assignment of, I want to know who or what it is that you can be at home that you don't feel you can be at school, which feels very much like if this was a sitcom, it'd be one of those situations where someone would answer the question and then some jerk student will be like, "Hey, I'm going to read your answer aloud." And it's like, oof, that's not what I wanted. And then we see the Danger Room Xavier Institute 337, Kurt using the image inducer. So that looks a little weird as he's bamfing about as they're trying to keep a crystal from breaking. This is a pretty great thing. Kitty checks on Kurt and then asks him if he's going to sleep like that in his image inducer because she's just like, yeah, you're here now. Like, you don't have to do that. And Devin Grayson, I love Devin Grayson. I met her at Comic-Con in 2002, or maybe it was 1998. No, it had to be 2002, right? And then we see Xavier Institute Yoga Room 732. Everyone's in their little yoga outfits, which is pretty cute. Kurt's pretty clumsy as he's using the image inducer and can't, balance himself well. And then some bullies show up and bother Kitty and Kurt. This is what happens when, oh, hey, the motion comics. So there was a Wolverine Origins Oh wait, no, these aren't motion comics. They're just literally Marvel comics on CDs. 2002 was a wild time. Then Kurt tries to, because he doesn't want to beat them, the bullies down, turns into his blue self, and they all think it's a demon and run away, which makes him feel sad. And Kitty shares that her favorite color is blue. And it's just like, oh, those two are just fun together. And then the Bayville High later that morning, and uh we find the teacher gives a little check-in with Kurt because his answer, and this wouldn't fly in high school, but he literally just writes the answers that he can be blue at home, that but he can't be at school. Which of course she takes as like a cry for help, and he's like, no, 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 you don't understand, it's fine. And it's like, all right. I do like we get a page here of Xavier, Logan, and Storm. They're talking about how everyone's doing in yoga. Rogue has not found her center yet. Storm's worried about Evan. And Kitty, Logan says Kitty's aces, and Storm says she anticipates no problems. So that's nice. And yeah, issue ends with Kurt just being like, yeah, everything's fine. Don't worry about me. Can I take this off? No, I'm not gonna fuss with it. I don't know what's below good, but it can't be. Does it go fair then good? I, here's the moment I always worry about where the tape's gonna stick to the cover. So, boom, nice. And that everyone's X-Men Evolution #4. All right, this week's comics. And I gotta find time to write these up for the website, shadowandflameofmagic.com. So we get Kitty Pryde back. We see all the adults are fighting demonic versions of themselves. Um, they escape from this area, and we get a panel with Magic and Kitty, but they're nowhere near each other, which apparently is the new rule at Marvel. Within that same panel is Marigold, so that's cool. Um, she's still hanging out with Bronze. I still worry that she's still a Mr. Sinister camera, essentially, and spying on them at all times, but maybe not. Um, Calico does a great job of leading a team to Louisiana and just keeping her wits, so we love that. We get Ember. I don't know what happened there. I love Ember. I should not have froze on that. Emma shows up at one point and they talk about we get a little hint of like, oh yeah, Kitty and Emma are pals. They start thinking that Shadow King's causing all of this, which maybe. Um, but we also get a reference to Gail Simone's Sikara, I think is how you pronounce it, who was hinted at in Uncanny, and then we saw the giant form in Unbreakable X-Men. So that's cool to see. And then the issue ends with Wither and Blade showing up, and so we know they're going to be involved in issue 7. So yeah, I don't know, pretty solid issue again. Um, which I just reminded myself of. Oh, let's see. And then X-Men Volume 735, possibly my favorite issue of the series thus far. 70s Beast is um trying to sort himself out after having his exchange with the chairman or the Krakoan Beast. Issue opens up with Magic sending Magneto to a temple that's in Morro, Alaska, so that's cool. Magic's essentially the co-star of the issue. As Beast tries to talk to her about how it feels to see a evil doppelganger yourself, and she's like, you can view it as a nightmare or the gift of like, oh, like the road not to go. Which, if you're ever blessed to having children, you sort of have this, or maybe I won't speak in general terms, it just be like from my point of view of being like, like the number of times I told Walker like how all the bad programming I have and how I have a short fuse or short temper, and but like I will apologize to him, like sorry I blew up that way. Like I have some stress on here, but sorry I took it out on you. And try not to do it again, but here's where I'm coming from. I've calmed down. Just have a proper chat about this instead of an immediate like stop. Because there's a moment where like in a busy parking lot, which if you ever see me in a parking lot, you probably either heard me or just know that I've said to Walker D like, hey, busy parking lot. And because you should have a somewhat fear of the parking lot, I think. And not so much now that he's 12, but when he was, knee high, which I can't believe how tall he is anymore. Like he's up to like my nose now. He's just he's growing. Super proud of him. He's gonna be a seventh grader. How crazy is that? Um, and just I don't know. I just worry about I don't know, I try to picture like what's he gonna be like with his son, and it's gonna be lesser than what I did to him from what I experienced, and just like, we all just trying to do better, but also baggage and programming and instincts, and but you just take it, day by day, apologize for the mistakes, try to minimize the mistakes, be overly complimentary, or be the parent you are, dear viewer or listener. And but me as a father is definitely something I'm constantly just reevaluating and trying to do courtesy check-ins of like, hey, how are you? How am I doing for you? Like, what do you need? Um, uh, so anyway, Magic gives Beast a nice hug, and she admits that she's just a real softie, but she also finds spikes and swords cool. So I don't know. It's just a very touching issue, and it looks amazing too. Tony S. Daniel pencils, and Mark Morales on inks, and Arthur Halsey, who's just becoming one of my favorite colors, is uh colors, and it just looks great. Jed McKay, and which reminds me, we got announced that Ashley Allen and Herman Barata, I don't know why I'm writing notes on this, are going to give us an Exorcist, but because it's X-Men, it's a giant X hyphen or cis. But it's going to be team up with Magic and Madeline Pryor, which I just want Ashley Allen and Herman Peralta to keep giving us Magic team up series. Yeah, Peralta. And um and it's supposed to have other Mystic characters as well. It's going to be 5 issues starting in November, so that's fun. Plus it's the 14th now, so we are anticipating solicitations maybe next week. Uh, so yeah, uh, that's what's going on in the world of Magic. A little spin-off, Jeff the Landshark Superstar 2. Jeff is in Mojo World with Jeff Coast Avengers, and which I think works better spoken aloud than read, that pun. He's meeting his castmates, including Magic Shot or Magic Hot, who's a combination of Magic and Long Shot. And there's a cute series of panels where Jeff is seeing these mashups and recognizing which characters he knows, and has a question mark about who he doesn't know they're merged with. And the issue ends with Spyro grabbing Ken, the squid guy. So it's gonna be just a cute series. Like we're 2 issues in, and it's just a good time. And they're fighting street sharks too, like from the 90s cartoon. And then they comment about like it's odd that you made them fight giant sharks and Jeff's a tiny cute shark, a land shark, if you will. And oh man, they see a land shark versus street sharks. That's clever. Oh, Kelly Thompson, simply the best. Generation X 23 7. We get Logan, Laura, and Gabby, the Wolverines, and they're with the Generates. as they investigate the Factory X-23, or I think maybe it's this Factory 23. I like how Surprise recognized Laura didn't left the explanation mark off, and that's something that works in comics where as soon as someone comments, you can go back to previous panel and be like, oh yeah, so you did not do the explanation mark. And they come across Orphan Maker, and of course, where's Orphan Maker? Nanny can't be too far behind. And she's just there working on testing babies as no one loves babies like Nanny do. So that's pretty cool. Great issue there. Then Wolverine Volume 825. Logan and Alpha Flight team up to fight. It's not Erg, but it's something like that. It's a guy who is a widower and injected himself with Logan's healing factor and turns blue once attacked. And he throws himself into the lava. There's some good chemistry with the team. I still like the new Vindicator lady. I know she's unlikable, but there's something about unlikability that I like. And he has his healing factor at the end of the day, and on his right hand, he now has bone claws. So one hand bone claws, one hand adamantium, so he can do all the things now. Um, so yeah, it's just a solid issue. X-Men 97 season 2 issue 3, not to be confused with season 2 episode 9. We get Cable, Sunspot, and Jubilee as they're tracking down the horse people. Archangel and Psylocke are there. And now it just feels like a silly book of, it bridges season 1 and season 2, but now that season 2 is over, and am I still interested in X-Force's hunt after clearly they moved on by episode 4? You know, I mean, it's a solid book still, but it's okay. Inferno Hulk 10, no X-Men present, but this was the final issue before we get the build up to World Hulk War. And the next part in that is Inferno Hulk versus Wolverine, so that should be fun. Then Venom 260. Some websites had the Reed Richards in a case by being tortured by the symbiote, but this was not that issue. So gotta pay attention to when that comes out because perhaps there'd be a Loki cameo. But yeah, that was this week's in comics. We do have a Patreon. If you want to go to Patreon and look up SNFWM, or if you type in Shadow and Flame of Magic, you should see it there as well. Just want to give a special shout out to Vic of Comic Books Beyond for being my top patron. And he just released an episode about The Winter Soldier by Ed Brubaker. And that's a good episode to listen to. And next week's and there's 3 tiers. There's a free tier. Um, there's a $1 tier, a $5 tier where you can sponsor a segment, and then a higher tier that just helps pay for, the heavy lift of the website. I use WordPress, Zoom, could go towards comics I need or want to discuss on the pod. And be nice to get like a hosting server and everything too. But yeah, just want to support the show, that'd be nice. And next week's comics, we get Uncanny X-Men Volume 634, Bishop Volume 2, 3, Glorious X-Force 8, Avengers Armageddon 3, Captain Marvel Dark Past 5, Queen in Black 3, and Ultimate Impact Reborn 4. And I'm working on getting a guest for next week's episode, so we'll see how that goes. Tune in. And currently the top X books of 2026, Magic and Colossus 5, Marvel Swimsuit Special, Brand New Beach Day, Moonstar 5, Inferno Hulk 7, X-Men United 1, Married with Marigold. I'm tempted to make it number 6 now because it was a pretty solid issue. Avengers Volume 934 at 6, 7, Generation X 23 1. And really, this series gets better every time too. X-Men 97 Season 2 Issue 1, Sorcerer Supreme 3, and X-Men Hellfire Murder number 1. And then I was no talking about X-Men Volume 735. That was truly a great issue, but I don't know what I'm going to have to take off to make add that on there. I mean, I should just take off Avengers, but as we're really looking like I mean, it's well, no, it's only August now, but I don't know. Usually the top 10 list turns into just a hey, everyone 10 issues Lockheed was in, but Kitty Pryde's been in limited books as well, so well, it's on me. I'll figure out where I was slotted in. But great books all along. Um, and that everyone was episode 242 of Shout on Plane with Magic. Thank you so much for listening or watching. Um, And please don't have any shadows of doubt. Ignite those flames and make like magic and have a great week, everybody. And now I'm remembering what I left off. The social medias. So yeah, you can follow me at Jacko SII on TikTok, YouTube, Blue Sky. I don't use Twitter as much. And you can follow the podcast at SNFWM on Patreon, Instagram, and Blue Sky. Definitely that account uses I use the podcast on Instagram as my main Instagram account. And shadowflamemagic.com. And oh, I had a fleeting one. And if you like Reddit, the day or Locky the Dragon is my favorite subreddit, and perhaps it could be one of your favorites. And so everyone, until next time, adios.